It's about your magnetic field. That's, your eighth chakra. And it's a really, really powerful year.
Aloha, and welcome to Healers' Voices, the podcast that brings you the healing heartbeats of Maui and around the world. I'm your host, Jessica Brazil, and together we embark on a journey to explore the inspiring stories of individuals who are making a profound impact on both local and global levels. From the powerful healing of Maui, we are here to amplify the voices of healers, visionaries, and change makers. We believe in the transformative power of dialogue to chart a future where all life thrives, living in harmony with the natural world and embodying the spirit of aloha. Aloha and welcome, Gurutej, to our Healers' Voices podcast. Really grateful to have you here. I know that you are known as a foremost authority in Kundalini Yoga and recognized as one of the handful of the Kundalini Yoga masters, and are known as the energy guru and help quite a few people get in better touch with becoming their own energy guru. Gurutej, I understand you're also an author to 4 different books and multiple workshops and programs, including the book A Slice of the Beloved, Yoga for Relationships, The Moon She Rocks You, and the 13th month, How to Get an Extra 29 Days Each Year. So welcome, Gurutej. Grateful to have you. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself and your lineage of practice and work for those of you who are not familiar with you and taking a listen? Thank you for being here. I know you've been quite an influence in my own life and supported me in my journey, and I'm just excited for our listeners to also learn from you. So welcome, Gurutej.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's like when somebody says that, share a little bit about yourself. It's kind of like, okay, what part of the journey do you want to know about, right? It was very interesting. Yesterday we did this event and got to share some energy tips with people. And I realized in the process of people were talking about their lineage and their past and that. And I grew up Catholic. I'm not a recovering Catholic. I really kind of enjoyed, we went to mass every day and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sound current, I think, was the thing that I enjoyed the most, because as you know, like cathedrals are created to create a wonderful sound current. So I grew up really with a spiritual practice. And then as I got to college, I started meditating. I did TM twice a day. And then I did self-realization. When I got to yoga, the thing that I loved the most about it is I got to bring my body with me into that divine flow, that's, that sound current, that connectivity. It wasn't like, okay, you've got to get out of your body because your body is not good. And I'm here to tell you, your body is great. It's a conduit for your essence. And if we don't love this, how do we get to love the essence of who we are? So that's it in a real super nutshell. I ran a spiritual community all over Canada for many years. And when I say I ran it, that's a very exaggeration. If anybody who's run a community knows that the community, runs over you as much as you ever do that. But it was great training.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So you're also a Sikh. And what's recognizable about that, right, is the headpiece that you're wearing that maybe those who are not familiar with, like, well, what is that all about? And what is this lifestyle of Sikhism? And I'm curious if you could share a little bit about what that means.
It's very interesting because the women in India do not wear turbans. But when Yogi Bhajan talked to the men in the beginning about wearing turbans and what it did to keep your head together, this was in the early 70s. We were kind of like, hello, what about us? Do we not have, sutures in our head that need to be kept together and that? So he was like, you're going to have to come up with this because women have never worn turbans. But it really does. It helps to keep your energy connected. What do we do when we're freaking out about something? We go, ah, right? You know, just like, ah. So what we're really doing is we're kind of pressing the sutures in our head back together because those plates of our cranium can get out of sorts, out of sync, out of connectivity. And so a turban really does that. It also helps, for those of you who live in the city, that like there's so much sound everywhere. So it just kind of helps a little bit protecting from that too. But it really does keep your head together. And I had, as a hippie, we had not cut our hair. So becoming a Sikh, and that Sikhs don't cut their hair, it was no big leap for us. So I have very long hair, and we bring it up to the top of the head so that your 10th gate, your energetics where the divine really pours in the most profoundly, is protected. So your hair helps to just bring all that energy back down as opposed to letting it just fly out. So that's a very succinct.
Yeah. And I know I've learned from you that we have multiple bodies and layers, and as well as our chakra system, which could be a whole nother conversation and journey of understanding. But this area right here that sits in our crown is where the heavenly gate, where we pull that energy in through and get a lot of benefits from meditation and practice of awareness. So
It really is. And it's also the thing of like when we feel overwhelmed, what do we feel like? Oh my God, things are just stacking up here and there's no freedom to like allow that energy to come down through us. It's like it gets very congested. It's like, somebody once said, it's like having a brick on the top of your head. So this is really to kind of like make sure that this part is, connected. If you ever watched a baby breathe and their soft spot, goes in and out, and you realize how that 10th gate is, they say that suture never totally shuts, and that it's called a 1,000-petal lotus. And as she said, we'll get into that another time, but yes.
yes, I know we have a lot of different energy currents in our bodies throughout our system, nadis or channels. And you're known as the energy guru. So you obviously have a lot of tools for navigating, coming into that balance, in bringing the physical body and the spiritual body together. Can you tell us a little bit more about like that warrior saint energy, and what does that exactly mean?
I'd love to talk about that, but since you brought this up, I think one of the most important things, we just talked about your crown,
Yeah.
is that how do we clear that off when we feel that overwhelm, when we feel that like, don't give me one more thing to do. How do we, what's a good thing to just clear that off so that we feel like we can again, have that conduit. So one of my favorite exercises is you just put your thumb, which is your Mars energy, at the base of your Mercury, which is your communication, right? And then you wrap all the other fingers around it. Your Jupiter, your Saturn, and your Sun, right? Jupiter is wisdom. Saturn we call it the swear finger, but it's really called your God finger. It's what takes away everything that keeps you from your essence. And your Sun is your life force, right? So we're going to take this and we're going to move that energy back away from us, okay? And you're going to just breathe, but try to do it so fast and hard that you can feel your whole body vibrating with this. And then once you have it, you want both hands going back, and don't just watch us, do it with us, and then it's yours, right? So just try to breathe through your nose on this one, and but it's going to feel kind of staccato-y because you're doing this and you're moving your whole body, and just feel like, oh my gosh, I really get to move this energy off. What's crushing you? Just going to do this a few more seconds, and I want you to feel like just keep doing it. I know having your arms up in this position is a little hard sometimes, but stick with it. And then take a deep breath in and exhale, and just put your hands over your heart. Yeah. And just see if you don't feel the energy around your head. a little more energized, a little more clear. Yeah. So,
Mm, so
and it's
nourishing.
real. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel way better.
Too. Yeah, I actually had a little bit of like a stuffy nose. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't. That's feeling a little bit more clear.
Yeah, yesterday we did this event and we did several exercises in it. And this one woman came up to me afterwards and she said, I've had the week from hell. Usually I'm just Miss Cheery, happy, positive. And she said, I was just feeling like, "Ugh." She said, after we did this one, I felt so good. It broke that. So sometimes just as much as a minute of something can change our energetic states. And that's what's important, right? Especially when we're talking about our mental health. Your mental health is not separate from your energetic body, from your physical body. And so, why not use this beautiful physical body to help create more clear energy?
And we've spoken before, and I know the lineage of teaching that you're connected to speaks to this Aquarian age and the air element. And so, how does that relate to? Maybe you can speak a little bit to what that means and how this air element. Because as I do this, I'm like, oh yeah, thought form and like bringing in all this energy that's like not visible. It's
Exactly right. It's like, but we can't, unless we're in, somewhere really cold, you can't see your breath either, right? We have all these unseen elements in our life that these two eyes don't see, but that we can actually feel. And I think that that's one of the most important things is that if you do something and you feel it, like that's why I was saying, don't just watch Jessica and myself do it, do it with us so that it's your experience in that. And that's really the important thing is not, I mean, we could come on here and inspire you and just talk and, but if you don't get any tools, life tools, then once the inspiration wears off, then you have nothing to fall back on. So tools are really, really important.
yeah, they sure are. So this air element that we're in right now, there's also some discussions around this gray period in the air element and just in our human journey and experience. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's really interesting because I feel like this year there's some big shift happening this year. I know that it's an 8-year, which is a sign of infinity, but we've been kind of like on the cusp of the Aquarian age, like, okay, when is it going to start? When is it going to start? When is it going to start? Is it really going to be more loving, more connected, more, all of those things? Um, I'm not going to give you a date because everybody's given dates all, for the last X amount of years. But what we're talking about, the gray period, is what we've seen the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years of just divisiveness. You know, I don't trust you because you think like this. You're crazy, and it causes a tremendous amount of mental stress and anguish. And when there's divisiveness, what happens is we think that we're not together, we're not connected. And we long for connection, right? That's why we join certain tribes, communities, groups, is so that we feel connected, we feel seen, we feel loved. And in this great period, it's about pitted against like this, like, and it's a time where, I mean, so many people are dying of drug overdoses. We just look around the wars that are everywhere in the world, and it's telling us that either if we keep going in this direction, we're going to self-destruct, or we get to make a U-turn. And that's the beauty of it, is like the more people that are doing the life-saving, life-giving, energetic things in the world that bring love and compassion, then we're the people that get to turn the ship around. And I count on you being one of those people that wants to do that. Yeah, it is intent. What do we say that, where intention goes, energy flows. So, what is our intention? And, mine right now is that we're giving birth to this year that isn't 8 years about your breath body, your pranic body. It's about your magnetic field. That's, your eighth chakra. And it's a really, really powerful year. And so if you're a breath holder, this is your chance to walk through the door of like realizing that as we breathe into things, doors open, you know, as we hold our breath and we pull back, we get smaller and go into a much smaller, tighter space in our lives. Yeah.
So we can expand into this air element through our breath.
Exactly. Yes. And, when we talk about Aquarius is an air sign, right? It is that. And it's also so interesting that the Chinese New Year always starts in Aquarius. And this year is the year of the dragon. So, what is the dragon? Fire breath, right? So, should we play with breath, with dragon breath? It seems like a perfect breath for this year. Like, we all have times where we get frustrated, angry, upset, overwhelmed. It's really only how fast we can get back to the essence of ourselves, the calm, connected, trusting place. And so dragon breath is, so I have to give you like, a little, nobody looks good doing this. Okay. It's not one of these beauty breaths where you like go, oh yeah, that's so pretty. No, it's not. But it's so wonderful for so many things in life. It's great for you to, if you ever want to like laugh at yourself, like you're taking yourself too seriously or things are really like, "Ugh," go do this in front of a mirror. I promise you, you will laugh. If you're having a fight with your partner, a verbal fight, not a fist fight, um, you can do this and it will break up the fight because it's so weird that the other person will go, "What are you doing?" Right? And then you can say, "Do it with me." It's a way to get out of that state of anxiousness, angst, upset. So you're going to inhale 4 parts. And you can do it also like if you're having a hard time driving, you just can't close your eyes with it when you do that. Okay. But you're going to inhale in 4 parts through the mouth. So you can do it through the nose or the mouth on the 4-part inhale. But I find that when we're really stressed, it's much harder to breathe through the nose, or we start breathing up here. And I want you to start your breath like down by your pubic bone and think of like you have 4 quadrants up to your diaphragm, which is your diaphragm attaches into your rib cage. So you're not going to breathe into here at all. No, none of this. Just keep it all down here. And then you're going to exhale really powerfully through the mouth while you stick out your tongue and you open your eyes really wide. Okay. I probably have a chlorophyll tongue or a purple from my shake. I just went, oh, yeah, I do. When I used to teach little kids in school, I would purposefully drink chlorophyll when I taught them this, and they would say, "Oh, you are a dragon," right? We're going to play with this breath. When you open your eyes super wide, it helps to activate your pituitary, which takes you back into your intuition, which is really important at this point in time, especially. And when you open your mouth really wide, stick your tongue out, it helps to balance the thyroid and parathyroid. Just stick it out really wide for just 1 second. Just you can feel it. Put your hands right here in your throat and just right. It also activates your vagus nerve. When you do that, it's a good activator for the vagus nerve. And our vagus nerve is this fabulous nerve that goes through so much of our body. It's really from the word like Vegas and vagabond are from the same thing. So it wanders through our body and it connects your head and your heart. It does so much. It's the biggest nerve in the body, not the longest, but the biggest, and has the most power over so many of your organs. So let's play with dragon breath. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to inhale 4 parts. You get to choose if you're going to inhale through your nose, but you don't get to choose on the exhale. The exhale is through the mouth with the eyes wide open. So, okay.
Okay.
I'm going to do the nose inhale. So just. One more time. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. Okay. So I love that one because it makes people laugh so much of the time. And because it just gives you that chance to like roar, right? Like, ah, be that dragon. And it helps to release that pent up fire and yeah.
Sounds very helpful. I think we got a head start on Maui in terms of our connection to this dragon.
Yes, I think you did.
The
Yes.
fires we went through. It's definitely
The fire breath, you got a 6-month head start. Yes.
Yeah. So in this numerology, you started to speak about the year that we're in. And we've also spoken about like what is like that pain or discomfort doing for us as we move through a transition. I mean, ideally we're all in a more peaceful space, but going through change and rapid growth can sometimes feel really painful, just like birthing, right? So that you can get to a place of bliss. So as you're sharing that this year is this year of birthing in a way, and connecting to our prana, our breath, or the air element, coming into alignment. If somebody's struggling with pain and that this process of change or growth is very uncomfortable, what kind of energy tips do you have for?
Isn't it funny that the only sure thing in life is that there's going to be change? And yet as human beings, we want nothing more than security, knowing where things are going and what's happening and what they're doing. So as we stand on this period that we are really going into this Aquarian age, there is going to be change. Yes, there's going to be a lot of it. And I think that, your breath is one of the best things that you can possibly use. Why? Because we talked a little bit about it later. When we get upset or we get fearful, what happens when we get fearful? We contract. It's like somebody put a contract out on us. What we say when somebody got a contract on you, we know that's not good, right? It means that somebody's trying to kill you. It's very different than having a contract that you're signing. So our contract with ourselves is how in a state of change can we expand as opposed to contract. And your breath is that beautiful thing that when you really breathe, your lungs massage your heart. Isn't that a good deal? It's like you just breathe deeply and your lungs massage your heart. So one of my favorite ones to do to really expand with subtlety is Sitali breath. And there's a lot of different variations of Sitali breath. I'm going to teach you a couple of them. And Sitali breath is to help your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that helps us to relax, to trust, to receive, right? Your parasympathetic and your sympathetic is the one that goes, go, do, be, go shine, go, make it happen. We all know about that one, and we kind of overuse that a lot of the times, and we underuse the parasympathetic one. So it's really wonderful to understand Sitali breath. I'm going to give you variations, and you get to choose which one you want to use, and I'm going to explain a little bit about each one of them. So the consciousness of Sitali breath is that you're going to bring your breath over your tongue, and it's a very cooling breath. It helps to cool and relax the body. And fear and angst and, all that is very hot. So everybody doesn't think they can roll their tongue, but we all can. It's just a matter of, are you, can you teach? I was once teaching these two young kids, and one of them could roll their tongue and the other one couldn't. But they came back the next week and both of them could roll their tongue. And I said, "What did you do?" She said, "I just showed him how to do it." Okay. So it's really practice if you can't do it. So that's the roll tongue. This is also very good if you're wanting to stop smoking cigarettes, because if you do this, every time you want that cigarette, you'll get that long, deep breath, which is what we really want with a cigarette, to calm us down, right? Trust me, I smoked. Yeah, I know about this. And the second variation is you put your tongue behind your bottom teeth and you breathe out the sides of your mouth. This is a good one for, like, if you're trying to be more subtle, like you're in a meeting or you're somewhere where you're around people, you can do it. Nobody knows. They can't see it, but you're breathing that. And the third one is when you want to say something and you know that you're going to regret it, but you really want to say it anyway. If you can catch yourself and just lightly, not hard, lightly bite your tongue, and you're going to breathe through the sides of the mouth as well. So think about what's relevant for you right now. And so biting your tongue, breathing into the sides of the mouth, or having your tongue behind the bottom teeth, or rolling your tongue. On the inhale, on the exhale, you're going to do it through your nose. And what I want to encourage you is see how long you can make this breath. Just luscious. Like, can you really start on every breath? A lot of people are reverse breathers, which means that when you inhale, your body contracts. I want you to put one hand on your diaphragm. And I want you to expand and feel like, you're a balloon and the divine is blowing just beautiful energy into you as you inhale. And on the exhale, you want to contract. Okay. If you're a reverse breather, you're going to be doing it opposite. And you want to shift that so that you can get really big. We learn to reverse breathe when we're around people who reverse breathe, or we're in a fear state. So we're contracted and we're still breathing and we'll just stay contracted. And then we relax on the exhale. But I want you to get big. We talked about getting big as leaning in to the challenges. So you want to lean in with this breath and get really big and expand your ribs and expand your diaphragm. Okay. So you choose which position you're going to do. And then we exhale through the nose. And you're going to close your eyes on this one. Just focus on your third eye and see how relaxed you can feel. Just and then exhale. If you can't breathe that long, don't worry about it. Just breathe as long as you can. One more time. And just hold the breath. Hold it and just let it feed you. See if you can just feel relaxed. And exhale. That's a good one to do before you go to sleep at night as well. But anytime you feel anxious, fearful, try it. Yeah. It's a good one to just take everything down. And the grace of it is it gives you more clarity. So whatever you need to do and see, you can get more clarity on what to do next instead of feeling like, right.
That one also helps our immune system, right?
It does. Yes, because our immune system gets totally overwhelmed when we're only using our sympathetic nervous system. It's just like, it gets completely overwhelmed. Yeah.
Which we live in this real go, go, go fast-paced world, so this is probably a helpful one to do throughout the day periodically. What do
Yes,
you
you can do it in your car. Don't shut your eyes, but you know, yeah, there's and bathrooms, I love bathrooms. They're sacred, right? They may not smell the best, but you can take yourself there and nobody can come in. And you can just do this for a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just you'll come back to whatever you have to do or whatever's going on, and you'll feel much more like, "I can handle this. I can deal with this," as opposed to like, "Ah!" You know, the scream. I feel like half the time people are feeling like, the painting, the scream, which is like, yes.
Boy, the breath is sure powerful, isn't it?
It is so wonderful, and this is that year to really embrace it and feel like, I can expand this. Yeah. This whole month on my yoga classes, that's what I'm teaching, is really prana. Because we think of, your prana is your life force, and you breathe it in and it gets to feed everything. And that's a wonderful gift, and it's free. They haven't found a way to commoditize our breath yet.
Yeah, so it's the gift that keeps giving within us.
It is. Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, as a Sikh and energy guru, like your life path looks a little differently than like a Buddhist monk, for example. Maybe some
Yes.
differences in that.
Yes. Our path was the path of a householder. So much easier to live in a cave than most people will tell you who've been in relationships. Friends of mine just, you know, celebrated their 48th anniversary. And I'm thinking, I said, you deserve wings. It's like the path of a householder is wonderful and challenging. And when you are in a relationship with somebody, you either what I call go postal, which means like just like leave me alone, or you get to work with each other, but each person gets to work on themselves as well. It's not, one person gets to be the teacher and the other person the student. You're getting to work on each other, with each other, but also on your own. And, also having children, it's like, that throws a whole nother energetics into a relationship. So, um, all relationships are not meant to be forever, but being able to work with somebody that you trust on hopefully a spiritual path is really a challenge and a gift. And, that's, what I can say is like, I am so grateful for my meditative practice, my yogic practice. It's the yoga and the meditation are such great ways to just like clear yourself. So whatever challenge comes in the day within yourself, external challenges that come, with the family, the partners, that you have the awareness of how to deal with it more effectively than you did before. We're not looking for perfection. Perfection is just it's such a ridiculous thing to strive for because it's your idea of perfection is not the same as your partner's, is not the same as your children's, is not the same as, so it's really a fabricated illusion. What we want to be able to do is deal with the situations at hand and have the awareness of when to say, stop, enough, we're not doing this, whatever this thing is, and how to be kind in your communication, how to, ask good questions. And when we get triggered, we're not usually kind, right? So having a better, a deeper meditation practice, a yogic practice, you know, for those of you on the islands, getting in the ocean, oh my God, that oceanic energy can help clear things. And, you're swimming, you're your diving, your whatever it is, can be moving meditation. But sometimes just being still is so important to just see what's going on, because so much of the time we try to run away, or go faster than what it is that's challenging us at the time. Like, I can just outrun this. I can, go faster. I can do more. I can, and it'll get better. But most of the time, our wisdom comes when we get still. Yeah.
I like to describe it as a time of integration.
Yes.
All of the outward experiences that we actually get to integrate that and have some awareness of what's happening within us.
So true. I mean, I think of the sleeping prophet, and, Albert Einstein said he got his best, downloads in his sleep, right? So if you go to sleep, with like really a meditation, or, a prayer that you just wrap yourself up in, you'll find that what you get is, much deeper and much more revealing. The downloads you get, the dreams you have, the awakenings, the awarenesses.
Yeah. Well, having been practicing for so long, what would maybe a few like tips, some reminders, some words of wisdom that you might offer listeners who are earlier in their journey of practice?
So this is a mantra that has been kind of my guidepost, and it's show up, do the work, and don't be attached to the results. So the first thing is show up, and it's the hardest. Like,
It's
show up and sit down and just, be, or show up and do a really, a meditation. And you're going to want to go, oh, but I have so many things to do. I mean, you're just, I just, I can't, I don't have time for that. Show up. Only after you show up can you do the work. And when you've done the work, how can you not be attached to the results? Each one is the most challenging in that period. So that being said, I want to give you a really short meditation that, even if you do this for 3 minutes, it's called the meditation for peace and light. Okay. So you're going to inhale in 4 parts through the mouth. Again, I want you to start at your pubic bone. You're going to exhale in 4 parts through the nose. You're going to hold it out in 4 parts. I'm going to do this with you a few times. Then I'm going to say a mantra out loud. You don't need to use this mantra. If you have another mantra, you can use that, but it's a good 4-part mantra. And on the exhale, I'm going to say a different mantra. But on the exhale, what I want you to do is just think of like this gold light wrapping you up in it. Okay. It will help you just to feel more loved and more connected. So let's just inhale 4 parts through the mouth. Exhale 4 parts through the nose. Hold the breath out for 4 counts. Inhale 4 parts through the mouth. Exhale 4 parts through the nose. Hold the breath out for 4 counts. And now I'm going to say the mantra while you do it. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold it out. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale 4 parts through the nose. Sa, ta, na, ma. Wrap yourself in that gold light. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Inhale. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale through the nose. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold the breath out. Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Now inhale. And just sit here for a moment. Hold your breath, let it feed you, and just feel all the gifts raining down into your hands. And exhale, and just put your hands over your heart. I didn't tell you what that mantra meant very specifically, but now I will. So Sa is birth, Ta is life. Na is death. In every society, na, no, nada, right? And ma is that rebirth. Sa, ta, na, ma. And Waheguru is that cosmic orgasm of like, yes, Waheguru, right? It's ecstasy. And you're inviting that in to your magnetic field as you wrap yourself up in that light. One of the most important things to remember is when we feel anxious, you want to bring things that help your parasympathetic nervous system slow things down. When you feel depressed, you want to wake things up so you have more energy that you can feel like, okay, there's hope, because depression is really hopeless, right? And I know there's many reasons for depression. I'm not a therapist. I'm not getting into this, but I'm just saying that what the body does in each one of these. And so the hardest thing to do when you're depressed is to get up and move your body. And yet it's the best thing that you can do for yourself, right? Is just get up and get that energy moving through you so it's not so hard in one place.
Wow, well, we got quite a few tools from you today. How can we learn, for those of you who are, intrigued and want to learn more, what's a good way for us to follow you or an event?
My website is just gurutej.com. So, please come be there. There's, free tools, and you can take class all sorts of ways. Yeah, there's programs. There's just depending on how deeply you would like to dive in.
Yeah. And I know you also do some coaching with like business leaders or spiritual teachers or
I do.
those
Yes.
who are interested in taking their practice into a more customized way.
Yes. More personal and more in-depth. Yes.
Yeah. Well, any last tips or anything that you wish to share before we wrap up our time together?
I just want to thank you all for showing up, because that's the first thing, right? Showing up. And so I just want to be grateful to those of you who have shown up, and hopefully you will share this with other people that you feel like it can serve.
Well, thank you so much, Gurutej. What a treat to be with you and to learn so much in such a short period of time. And as we close up, I'd like to always end with one of the prayers that I learned from these teachings, which is, may the long-time sun shine upon you, may all love surround you, and the pure light within guide your way on. So Sat Nam, thank you for being together, and look forward to having you again in the future.
Thank you, darling. Blessings.
Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the heartbeats of healing. We hope that Healers Voices has filled your heart with inspiration and brought you closer to the spirit of aloha. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to continue this important conversation in your own life. Let these stories and insights resonate within you and inspire change in your own community and beyond. Remember, the power of healing is within all of us, and by working together, we can bring positive change to our world. Let's move forward with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to living in harmony with nature and one another. We'll be back with more incredible stories and voices of healing from Maui and around the world. Until then, please remember to follow and like us to support this continued raising of awareness, and continue practicing, embodying, and spreading the aloha spirit to make a difference in the world. Mahalo for listening to Healers Voices. We'll meet again soon.